Mrs. Anity, and their 5 wonderful students, and of course the whole Hubbard cheering section behind them. They are going to present on Writer's Workshop and how it is the merger of 2 of our district goals, teaching for understanding, because it's what they can do, and also achieving excellence through equity, because you're going to see how Writer's Workshop caters to all ability levels and all comers. So without further ado, this is Pina.
So thank you so much for giving us the space to share with you an instructional practice that we really have evolved in instructionally as a staff, and our students are really showing great growth with, regardless of where they're beginning. I just want to thank the parents for bringing your children here and for coming early for practice, and my staff for taking on the work to the degree that they have. There is no way we can move children in writing the way we have without their dedication and their commitment to the kind of professional development that they really have to engage in, that you, the Board of Ed, have approved every year as part of our process. I just met with the curriculum committee and we talked about we can't do this kind of work without that kind of support for professional development. Our instructional coaches have been invaluable in moving the work, and you'll see tonight the benefits of all of the fruits of everyone's labor. So Carmen LaCarza is our K-12 English supervisor this year. It's been a wonderful year with him. Mrs. Volpe works with our special education staff. She's been a wonderful liaison. Mrs. Caroli's in the back representing world languages and our English language learners. And Mrs. Anity is up here, our literacy coach. She works with K-5 staff in moving the work forward from our consultants down to the pen on the paper of our students. So our goals for this eve, regardless of where they begin, we're going to share some models and strategies of the structures and clearly model how all learners' needs are met. So meeting the needs of all learners could be a catchphrase, but what the workshop structure really does is start exactly where each child is. So when we talk about a child who may have just arrived to this country, it starts with what they're able to do, and it could just be drawing pictures of the story that they have to tell. It could be meeting the needs of a child with a significant language impairment or fine motor issues. You might find them using technology like Co-Writer that supports them in predicting the words that they want to use, or even just the physical act of writing. And it could help our child who comes to us already hitting the standards for the grade level that just needs to be moved forward to the next grade level. It gives us instruments, structures, and processes to hit every child where they are and move them from there.
Hi everyone, I'm Carmen LaCarza. I'm going to talk a little bit about the structures within Balance Literacy and Writer's Workshop. Within Writer's Workshop to support students. First of all, writing is a dynamic process, and students don't all follow the same path in order to grow as writers. This being said, we have really specific pre- and post-assessments in our writing. Our pre-assessments give us a great idea of where our writers are in the process, and our post-assessments give us a clear goal for our writers to move towards. This way they stay focused. In this sense, when we think about writing, it's drawing, labeling, inventive spelling, typing, storytelling. These pieces all take very specific skills and strategies to move towards. So in this sense, we use the Writing Pathways rubrics developed by Teachers College at Columbia University that gives students a very clear idea of where they are and how they can move forward. So what does this look like? So we follow the gradual release model. So we follow the motto of I do, we do, you do. So the teacher models, we work on it together, and you work independently. So to build these structures, we have a first week that's called Immersion Week. So it's sort of a surface understanding of the big goals for the unit. So in doing that, we may look at something like shared reading and writing. That's where the teacher sort of works as a scribe and guide students through the writing as they collaborate together. We may work on lingo study, which gives students the vocabulary to be successful in the unit. So we may look at words like author's craft or what is a lead. We may work on interactive writing. That's where students take a more active role, where they hold the pen and they work together, and the teacher serves more as a facilitator to work through it. And we actually have an example of student writing. It's pretty great, of students that want a new rug, so they wrote to Miss Pina and talk about why, and it's pretty fantastic. If you want to take a look at it later. And finally, inquiry. So students are reading texts that of the genre that they're going to write. So they're looking for text structures and ways within actual writing to make it a more authentic experience. And finally, in moving past the immersion, we can move into the actual workshop, where students are working independently. And sort of the heart of the workshop is conferring or conferencing, where students receive one-on-one individual instruction. And Ms. Zanetti is going to talk a little bit more about what conferencing looks like, and we're going to look at it at a conference. However, the basic idea is each student gets a clear sense of where they are in the process, and then they get a clear skill, strategy, or technique on how to move forward. Okay, thank you very much. Now, moving forward, we're going to see some of our third grade students here at Hubbard talk about their experience with Writer's Workshop.
We are students from 1C who love to write across pages and pages. We all get to choose topics that we are excited about and interested in.
How to Feed a Dog. Written and illustrated by John. Date 3-13-18. Materials needed. 2 bowls, dog food, dry dog food, water, wet dog food, dog treats. First, you get 2 bowls. 1 bowl is for water. Another bowl is for food. Next, you mix wet food with dry food. Then, you put water in a bowl. After that, I give my dog his dinner. Finally, I give my dog a treat. The treats my dog likes are Caesar softies.
All writing that is sent home is a celebration of what we are doing as writers. This is a picture of a student uploading her own work, her own writing to the Seesaw app so that she could celebrate her work with her parents.
And the new role that we had this year with teacher tech leaders, decision asking, sort of really helped us to move that forward with Seesaw. A lot of feedback we had was the writing doesn't come home. It's part of the process as we hold on to it and then we celebrate it in halls. So having that role and being able to utilize that app and have the training for the app in-house was instrumental in getting the writing home this year. And now we're going to have our friends share what their favorite part of the writing workshop is.
My favorite parts of writing workshop are planning and publishing. In planning, I get all of my ideas together to figure out paragraphs. In publishing, we get to design a cover and hang it up in the hallway to share with everybody. One thing I love about Writer's Workshop is show not tell. I love using show not tell because it draws a great picture in your mind. An example, instead of saying, I walked to the goat and it went by, you would write, I slowly walked to the goat and I could hear the crunching from the hay. Then, bah, went the goat. I like that we all get to come together. We share our thoughts, express our feelings, and help each other improve. Writing alone does not help you get new ideas. In Writing Workshop, everyone shares their ideas. Many thoughts and ideas are better than just one. I also like how it helps develop teamwork, share diversity, and learn from others. These are great things that are very important. I like how Writing Workshop not only helps children write, but it also helps us learn important life skills.
Okay, thank you guys. So hello, good evening, I am Mrs. Anetti. So you just heard Mrs. Pina and Mr. LaCurza talk a lot about balanced literacy and the workshop model. And when I think about this workshop model, there are a variety of different components, and then there's also the workshop. And within the workshop, we also, one part of it is conferencing. And so today I want to talk a little bit about that conferencing and kind of expand off of what Mr. LaCurza said. When we think about conferencing, it's really the heart of our workshop. It's where teachers can solely invest all of the time to really do like that differentiation of learning, to really meet exactly what the learner needs at that exact moment. And so when we go through our mini lessons and we go through our shared reading and our shared writing, we're teaching all these skills and strategies, and then we're able to really sit together with our students and ask ourselves, what are they doing right now? What are their next steps? And what does this specific student need? So it's really generalized to that and tailored to that instruction, like that direct instruction specifically to that individual student. And just like Mr. LaCurza said, it's part of that gradual release where we're showing them all these skills, but then we're able to kind of hand it off on them and give them the specific steps, sitting next to them, practicing with them, guiding them through it so that it's a comfortable process and so that it's something they're feeling good and they're walking away. And then being able to transfer that work. And so you're going to see that through a conference, it's not designed specifically for that one piece of writing, but instead we give and we teach these skills and these strategies that a child can take, apply into that writing, but then apply into all different types of writing as well as they go through the writing process and as they go through all of our units. So you're in for a treat today. We're going to be able to get to see some mock conferences here. So these conferences are going to be from a first grade classroom, and we're going to pretend that they're in the informational unit. And so we have Mr. Tommy Capilano as our teacher today. We can give him a round of applause. And our board member, Mrs. Burns, being our student today. As you go through and you see this conference, it's wonderful. But on the board, if we can just change the slide, there are a few different parts of the conference, and these are important because conferences, we like to have them structured because it's so easy to be invested into like the story that our kids are writing, or it's so easy to get off on a tangent because, you know, we want to sit and we want to talk with the writer, we start asking them questions about, you know, what's this about? Oh, this is a great vacation story. Let me hear more about it. But really to tailor to the needs of the student and be able to teach them specifics and that skill and those strategies, and then have them be able to apply it, we stick to a specific structure. And so that structure is comprised of first, we research to ask ourselves, what is this child doing? We then acknowledge and compliment of what's something that's successful within their writing, and this compliment is not like just a great job, okay, let's move on, but rather noting something that the student is doing that we want to see them continue doing in other pieces of writing. And then we give a teaching point where we teach them something, and that might be through guided practice and guiding them through it and holding their hand, or it might be modeling and having them independently work side by side before we then do the link of, here's what we learned, what did you learn from me today? And now you can take this skill and apply it into different pieces of writing. So you're going to see a little conference right now, and I'm going to put the microphone here.
Don't worry, you don't really have to hold my hand.
Hi, how are you writing for today?
It's great. I'm working on writing about a butterfly today.
Can you tell me a little bit more?
I look at my picture and think of what I want to say, and then I write it down.
Wow, one thing that makes your writing strong is that you look at your picture, then think about what you want to say, and then write it in a complete sentence on your paper. Whenever you write, always write your thoughts in a complete sentence.
Okay, thank you.
Today I would like to teach you that we think about uppercase and lowercase letters as we write our sentences. The beginning letter of a sentence is always capitalized. We can check for this by first reading the sentence, then asking ourselves, did I put a capital letter at the beginning? That I can then add it in. Let's try our own reading.
Okay, first I read the sentence about butterflies are insects. Next I ask, did I put a capital letter at the beginning? Whoop. No, I didn't. Let me change that. Let me change it. What do you think?
Excellent job. Remember that in all pieces of writing, we want to make sure that we add a capital letter to the beginning of a sentence. Off you go to keep writing.
So you can see that during that conference there were these parts, and that conference was totally less than 5 minutes, but was something that that writer can then teach that skill and apply to all the writing. In addition to that, you might see a teacher give a little post-it to the kid to say, here are your steps, keep it with you, and as you're writing, keep on looking back and asking yourself this question. But again, very tailored to what that student needs, and now the teacher is able to identify it, write it down, make a note of what they worked on, and possibly even think of next steps for that writer. Because think about it, as writers, there are tons of next steps, but when we concentrate on one specific thing, we can really target the needs of that learner in that moment, and then move on at a different time. So we're going to have another conference now, and this conference is also going to take place in a first grade classroom for an informational writing unit. And I'm going to introduce our teacher, Mrs. English. Our board member, Mrs. Walsh. Hi, Miss English.
Hello, I see you're working really hard over here. Could you tell me a little bit about what you're working on in your piece?
I'm trying to add more. I just don't know what else to do.
Let's take a look together. Well, can I just tell you that you are such a strong writer? One strong thing that you are doing as a writer, you are writing across many pages. Great writers do this to stay organized and think about new information about their topic. As you keep writing about different nonfiction topics, remember to keep writing across many pages.
Wow, I am doing that.
Today it seems like you want to add more in your writing. I'm going to teach you how to do this. I want to give a choice. Great writers can elaborate by adding in details to their writing piece. Another thing writers can do to add more is by thinking about your sentences. Which one would you like to learn today?
I would like to learn how to add more details into my writing today.
Okay, great. First thing writers do when they want to add more detail is they look for a place that has something they can talk about a little more. Next, they think, what more can I say about that? And lastly, they add it in. Let's try it in your writing.
Okay. First, I look for a place that has a sentence that we can add more to. Well, I'm writing about sharks. How about this sentence? Sharks are big fish.
Great sentence. Let's see, what more can you say about big sharks?
I can say sharks are big gray fish that live in the ocean. They hunt for prey day and night. People are afraid of sharks, but usually they just mind their own business.
Whoa, did you see how much more you thought about when you asked yourself, what more can I add about my sentence? Go ahead and write it in. Excellent job. Can you tell me what you learned from me today?
I learned that when we want to elaborate in our writing piece, we can ask ourselves, what more can I add? Then I can think about what else there is to say and then write it down.
Whoa, great job today. Whoa, great. And keep up the great strong writing.
Thanks, Miss English.
Thank you to our teachers and our board members for playing along.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so one thing I just wanted to note before I end and hand it over to Mrs. Pina was that you just got to see two different conferences that were based on what that kid needed at that very moment. In addition to that, you saw in the second conference that choice was offered. And so a lot of our teachers offer choice because it allows the student to take ownership of their own writing and think about, what do I want to learn? Now you can see that it was elaboration that the teacher knew that that student needed at that very moment, but gave choice of what kind of elaboration do we want to be teaching and what do you want to be learning. So it's something that our teachers in this district do very well. And you just got to see two awesome conferences as an example of what our teachers do and what our kids do all the time. So thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for your time. At this time, I would like to invite all of you on the board to be part of our writing community. Take time to write each day. Talk to your friends about what you're writing. Study authors as writers and write about your passions and help us change the world with your pen. Thank you so much for giving us the time tonight.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you to all the teachers who came out, the students who presented. I just want to quickly, a lot of times we talk about awards that we win, and a lot of times those are high school awards, and I just want to emphasize that to take nothing away from the high school students and the teachers, but often it starts here. It always starts here, right, with our kindergartners and our first graders and the teachers and the administrators who do the work here, and it's really a whole system. So sometimes we don't win awards for first grade writing, but it's equally important. So thank you all. I can't wait to hear about the awards you win up in high school. So thank you. The board members can come back.